But what I want to talk to you tonight about is about a powerful man. A man who's known throughout the world, whose impact is still felt today. A man that when I sat down to study, to learn more about, I never felt so small. A man who made me feel so small because of what he had achieved in a very short period of time, I knew I could never achieve in a lifetime. A man who's changed society to the point that we can sit in the room tonight and break bread. A man tonight that we can sit here and relax and hear a man like David Macy's country music. Now, ain't God is good? He's good. On my way here tonight, I asked God. My wife says, you're used to speaking. I said, yes, I am. But underneath it all, I was praying to God, and I said, God, show me favoritism tonight. Give me direction. I sat there and I wrote all the different lists of things I wanted to say. I said I was going to make 2 columns just in case the first one I didn't feel right saying it tonight. And then come to find out, I was sitting here, and now both of the lists is out. Because God has pointed me in a direction in which I want to speak tonight. And that direction is, the clock is ticking. Can you hear? Let me say it one more time, just in case somebody in the back didn't hear me. The clock is ticking. Can you hear? When I was sitting down, I was sitting at the table, and I was sitting there going through the computer, because technology is just wonderful nowadays. You can about find anything you want on the computer. And I'm sitting there, and I imagine myself in the shoes of Martin Luther King Jr. Growing up, I can remember Dad leaving his shoes around, and I was a little boy, and I would go in the room, and I would put my foot inside his shoe, thinking that one day I would like to be half the man my dad is. And I realized that I would never be that. Sitting down thinking about Martin Luther King, I realized that he had set the mark so high. And in that moment, I never in my whole entire life felt so small. All the things that God had blessed me to be, to become, the people to meet, didn't matter anymore. I felt that I felt myself. That there's more to achieve. As I was sitting down again, putting things together, I could imagine Martin Luther King sitting down, doing one of his speeches, and his 4 kids by his feet. How distracting that must have been, because my 3 kids were all over the place. Jumping up, Madre kicking Mason off the couch. And in that moment, I felt that I had a connection with him. Because he had to know his time was coming. And when I realized that, I sat there and I said, could I go stand out in front of a crowd of people knowing that the clock was ticking? And he could hear. Knowing that any minute, the night before, when he was sitting down doing the speech and his 4 kids was laying in front of him, playing on the floor, and him glancing down at him, thinking this could be the last moment I share with my family. It takes a special man, a special person to continue the journey. Back to the subject. Time, the clock is ticking. Can you hear it? Mark chapter 13, 31 through 33 verse says, Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of the day and the hour know it no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. How do we address the future with the power of the past? Well, first of all, we have to take the first step. We have to start today. There's such a gap between that generation and the generation today. When you think about the past, you think about people. When you think about the future, you think about technology. Those are two different things. In the past, there were people out making the connection. Now, I don't know how to keep up with people. I don't know to check my phone. I don't know to whether check my email. I don't know if you're Facebooking me. It's just too much. And it's a disconnect. When it used to be, someone would come and knock on your door. I want to check and see how you're doing today. I want to see if you need anything. How can I help you? Those days are long gone. Now, there's a new smartphone company coming out each and every day. I looked at my 8-year-old son today, and he knows how to work my phone better than I do. I was sitting up there doing the speech, and he comes and sits beside me and brings his computer, trying to help me with my speech. He's 8 years old. So first of all, we have to go back to people, the foundation in which this country was built upon. Through the sweat and the prayers and the families and the connection. Nowadays, I speak to people and I ask them how their kids are doing, and honestly, all they can tell me is fine. Well, is he in sports? Is he going to church? Is work and home? So how do we address the past address the future with the power of the past? First of all, we got to reconnect. Churches are empty. Everywhere, churches are empty. People feel nowadays that they can just cut on the TV and get the message. But that's not what God teaches us. God teaches us that you have to go to the temple to hear the word. For the fellowship, you are what you surround yourself with. So we have to go back to the old days of going to church, making the connection. Second of all, we have to embrace one another. There's no more embracing. We have turned cold. We are a society now that thinks about me first, you second. And I can understand that through time and through hardship, people become a little bit harder, a little bit colder. But to be honest with you, these are the times in which Martin Luther King was speaking about. That one day we can stand together and bring each other through. It wasn't always talking about race. He was talking about character. Being judged for the man and the woman that you are. Meaning, in times of need, there's enough people right here to take care of each other. We shouldn't have to worry about, is government taking care of us? I assure you that government is going to take care of themselves. They think 2012 election is going to be any different than listen. we have to start with our foundation. We got to go back to the roots. We got to go back to where we didn't think about ourselves, but let our neighbors borrow a cup of sugar. That's where we are right now. If you look at society today, man, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of things being said. A lot of things being done. All of a sudden, race has reappeared. All I do is come to TV and I hear racial remarks, undertones, disconnect. And our society is steady going downhill. Will we have another Martin Luther King? I don't know. He was so special in a desperate time. Will God ever deliver another man like this to us? Only God knows. But one thing I do know is we are here. We can make the difference. We can make the reconnect. All we have to do is take the time. Everybody is just so busy. So busy. iPhones, computers, emails, Facebook, that we pass each other by. We pass each other by every day without even speaking. Sometimes we pass our own family members by speaking. I have to make it a point to myself to come down to Malvern to see mom and dad. Because if I don't, I have to actually schedule it. Because if I don't, time will go by. And our clock is ticking. What are we leaving here if we leave today? I look at Madre and I think about the society and the future he's going to live in. And it's scary. It's so scary. You cut on the TV and you see things on TV that you never thought you would see in your life. There's no censorship anymore. People are saying what they want to say. It's amazing. There's no honor. There's no character. There's nothing. So where are we? How do we address the past? How do we address the future with the power of the past? First of all, we have to stop pointing the finger. We're in a society that loves to say it's your fault, not mine. I didn't do it. He did it. It's his fault, not mine. And now we're in a society where we got our kids doing the same. And we wonder why our kids are not stepping up to the plate. Because all they see nowadays is mom and dad doing this. No, it's your fault while we're in this situation we're in. And all the kids are sitting back looking at this saying, wow, I want to be like mom and dad. Nobody even knows about Martin Luther King and what he done in our youth. All they know is that he's a great man because they heard mom and dad say he's a great man. They really don't know that he graduated from Morehouse, that he was a very educated man, that they should seek their education, that they should strive to do better things. I tell my son every day before he goes to school, be greater than what you are. Some days he is and some days he's not. I walked into school behind him one day and he's laying on the floor in the middle of the hallway swimming. That day he wasn't so great. But I really think about our society, and I'm not going to be long about the close. And I think about how do we truly address the future with the power of the past? Because the past was so powerful, and there was such a connect, not only in one race, because it takes more than one race to be where we are. It takes everybody. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, it truly does. Because nowadays, in the shape that our economy is in, it takes a lot. And it's going to take everybody to make a difference. So I leave you with this charge. Please, take the time. Take the time to pull a young person aside and teach them their past. Because all they know is MTV and BET. Take the time to teach them their family tree. Most people don't even know where they come from, who their people are. Take the time to let them know that they're loved.